Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. This is going to be our October compilation video. We do these at the beginning of every month. If you happen to be new here to the channel, first of all, welcome. Glad to have you on board. But we do this, again, at the beginning of every month to sort of give you guys an overview of what you should expect to be purchasing for the given month, this, again, being October of 2020. So we don't have a whole heck of a lot on the domestic side of things. Only 5 kits between all of the domestic companies. Aoshima has a huge pile of things coming out because it's sort of their big push before the holidays, considering what shipping involves and things like that, especially these days. And we have some kits from Hasegawa as well. So not a whole lot that's interesting, to be honest, completely throughout this whole thing. Most of the Hasegawa stuff is, like reissues of race cars with different liveries and things like that. But there are a few things that we'll be picking up because, hoarding. And I'm sure there'll be a few things in there that are interest you as well. So, starting off here in the United States at round 2, just AMT kits this month, no MPC that we're seeing. You get a reissue of the 1/16th scale in 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air convertible. Looks like it's been about 15, 18 years since this got reissued last. It's a kit from the 1970s, like the other 1/16 scale AMT kits tend to be. So, kind of know what you're getting there. But we're going to draw new decals for it and put it in a vintage box art. I think again from the 19. It looks like it's the second reissue box art, just the way the Thunderbird was. So depending on where you're watching this video, you don't know that the 1/16 scale Thunderbird has come out yet. But if you're watching this after you've watched Monday's show, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, well, you'll know later. So, also getting a reissue of the Lowboy trailer and bulldozer. So these two pieces have been sold separately, uh, recently, even with the Lowboy trailer having, just being a trailer without the tractor, and the bulldozer, it's a bulldozer. A lot of people give it grief because it doesn't have the Caterpillar licensing, but it hasn't for several decades of reissues now. Just a very, very expensive licensing that they're not willing to pay for, and frankly, I don't blame them. Aftermarket decals exist if you really have to have it be a Caterpillar again. It's the first time they've been packaged together in a little while, so I know that probably doesn't do very much for people who have bought them separately to put them back together again, because again, originally, when these kits were first issued in the 1970s, they were a package, or were available as a package deal. People who wanted to sort of recreate that, oops, too late for some people. Also getting a reissue of the 1995 Toyota Supra. This is a former Fast and the Furious car, so this is like the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Also, let's see what else was in that series. There's a Nissan 350Z in that series. I also think there's a version of the 70 Monte Carlo in that series as well. It's an okay Supra, I guess. I know it's one of those things that it got sent to Japan, and Aoshima did it in an Aoshima box, and people were not amused at all getting a 1/25th scale junky AMT kit in their Aoshima box. But I guess it sort of is what it is. They're just sort of reissuing old tooling. If laying around, you might as well give it a shot and see if it sells, I guess. And then last but not least, from AMT, you get a reissue of the American LaFrance Ladder Chief. So within the series of the 3 American LaFrance fire trucks, you have the pumper, and then you have the Aero Chief, I think it was called, with the aerial scope. I'm trying to figure out remember how to pronounce it. I think it's Aeroscope, which was a American LaFrance specialty aerial with a bucket on it. Those 2 kits have been reissued. The Ladder Chief, which is basically strictly just a ladder truck. I'm not sure that thing actually carries water, but it's just a ladder truck. Back in the older days of firefighting, ladder trucks didn't necessarily always carry water. But be that as may, this is the last of those 3 to be released, and it's the only one that hadn't been, so that's back out there for folks if you were sort of rebuilding the collection of those. They've been reissued, over time, several times by AMT, but within the current round 2 ownership, and this was the one that hadn't been reissued yet. Over at Salvino's JR, they've announced a partially new toolkit for October. You guys we've talked about in the past. They're doing a Le Mans body for the monogram kits. So it's going to be the monogram chassis, running gear, roll caging. Well, basically, the entire kit's going to be a monogram kit, and then they've created a newly tooled body to represent the intermediate or mid-sized Pontiac Le Mans body that was used from 81 to 85, I think it is, or it might be 80. I just looked at a blank, well, it's not a blank box, but Mike's Decals version of this, and it has the list of the years that the car was available on. It's 82 to 86, I think. Anyway, this is an 83. It's the Rainier Racing Cale Yarborough driven Hardee's sponsored car. So, I mean, I know that probably this starts getting a little Coca-Cola decal to people. If you pay attention, there's been a lot of Rainier Hardee's cars that come out of Salvino's, but that is a consequence of paying a license, right? You paid a license to Rainier, you paid a license to Cale Yarborough, and within that, you're paying a license to Hardee's, so you're going to use that. So I really don't have a problem with it, but I know some people will probably be like, oh, God, another Hardee's car. If you don't like the Hardee's thing, Mike's Decals has a whole bunch of very interesting looking, because some of them aren't out yet. So it's, I'm just basing on the artwork, not the actual decals, but some very interesting looking Le Mans decals for this. I believe the kit itself is out, again, at Mike's Decals. If you want to buy a blank one and get some decals put into it. I call it blank because his kit doesn't have a livery in it. It's just the model kit. You have to buy the decals either with it or separately. This will have the decals in it from Salvino's. But I believe his kit is already out. This will be out at the end of October. So there's that. Going over to Japan, the Tamiya kit has the Campus Friends 2 set of figures coming out. This is not a rebox or reissue of the Campus Friends that was done back in the 80s. This is a new sort of modern take on it, if you will. So there's 5 figures in it. All of them are new sculpts. There is a new scooter in it. So that these are, it's not just a reissue of the old one. Basically, it's based on that. The theme is the same, but there's a couple of girls taking a selfie. There's the things like that. It's more modern dress. The scooter is a brand new 2019 scooter. I think it's a Suzuki. It might be a Yamaha, but I think it's a Suzuki. I need to look at the box, but it's that kit, I believe, actually may be out here in the United States, because it's out in Hong Kong, but the Japanese release of it has not occurred yet, so that'll be out this month. Over at Hasegawa, you're getting a reissue of the 1/20 scale 78 Lotus 79 in the German Grand Prix winner. When this kit was announced, we made a discussion about this with the fact that Hasegawa didn't do very many 1/20th scale F1 cars. They were trying to enter that space that is held by Tamiya and to a lesser extent Fujimi, because Tamiya does a lot of the more historical versions, where Fujimis were pretty much all modern day F1 cars being done at the time of the races. They announced this kit, planned this kit, and then Tamiya did the same kit, and Tamiya's kit nominally sold better. And, Tamiya 1/20 scale F1, it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, I need one of those. If you're an F1 builder, you're not going to really consider the Hasegawa one, which is what kind of worries me about the whole Hasegawa's reissuing that Lancer rally car that Nunu's also doing. It turns into a question of who gets what out first and that kind of thing. But at any rate, that kit was done. It didn't sell terribly bad, but it didn't sell well enough for them to continue the line. So it was kind of a lost in time kind of kit. I don't think most people thought it would come back out again, but when you're sort of reissuing a lot of things, 2020, the year of the reissue, because obviously it's just easy to pour plastic in something and ship it out rather than try to go through all the rigmarole of new tools and things like that. But be that as it may, that's coming back out. Getting a reissue of the 1977 Lancia Stratos HF and its Monte Carlo winning, or not a Monte Carlo winning. Is it a Monte Carlo winning? I'm trying to think. Let me take a peek here. I think the Monte Carlo actually did win. It was the Safari that didn't win. Yeah, the Monte Carlo is a winning car. There we go. The Lamborghini Jota SVR and the Mazda Cosmo Sport, all of those no resin girls. The sort of modified reissues this month out of Hasegawa, 1994 San Remo Rally, Griffon, which is a privateer team, Toyota Celica 4-wheel drive that finished 8th. Reissue of the 1993 Subaru Legacy Rally car, this time for the 93 Royal Auto Club Rack Rally. 2 different liveries in there, or 2 different numbers in there, to do the 7th place and 10th place car. We're going to reissue the Nissan Bluebird 1600 SSS with a resin chin spoiler. Also, they're including a set of Watanabes in there, which were not in the actual factory street kit, that has been done a number of times. Was reissued not too terribly long ago after sort of being out of the works for a while, but it's easily available. So this is, like I said, going to add a chin spoiler and add the Watanabes, probably the Watanabes out of the Nissan Sunny, I would imagine, or the ones out of the Celica. They're both the same wheel, but the Sunny ones are probably newer and easier to find as far as the tooling goes. Then they're going to reissue their Toyota 2000 GT in the 1967 24 Hours of Fuji race livery. Two different car numbers, be able to finish either the winner or the second place car. Reissue of their Subaru 360 in its C1 class racing trim. This one for the 1963 Japanese Automotive Federation Grand Prix. This will be three different numbers in the kit, which will be the third, fifth, or sixth place cars. And then lastly, we're going to get a reissue of the 1993 Japanese Touring Car Championship Trust liveried AE 101 Toyota 11. That car finished second in the championship points for the Division 3, and the significance of this, and which is why it's sort of the last thing we're going over, is that it's going to have two new sets of wheels tooled into it. If you're new to the channel, not familiar with Japanese race cars in the 90s, the front-wheel drive cars were in the separate division. So that's your Civic, your Corolla 11. I'm trying to think if there was anything else in Division 3. Or Nissan didn't have a car in there, and the BMWs were Division 2. So pretty much it was just those two. And because they were front-wheel drive, they will run a heavy-duty wheel on the front and then lightweight wheel on the back. So there's two different sets of wheels to most of the Division 3 cars. And these two wheel sets are new, which makes me think that we will see a further expansion of these Division 3 cars. They make a number of vehicles that run from the 1992 through the 1994 season, so perhaps we'll see more things along the line. This 93 livery, for example, is brand new livery in addition to it being the new wheels, so we'll see what that holds for the future. But I would think tooling more wheels is not a "we're done with this" kind of thing move more than it is a step forward. And then Aoshima's substantial list of items here, so take a swig of something. Hang on. 1991 Nissan Laurel Medalist Club S, 92 Mazda AZ1, 91 Honda Beat, 96 Mazda RX-7 FD3S, 79 Toyota Corolla GT DX, 73 Volkswagen Beetle 1303S, 75 Volkswagen Beetle Cabrio 1303S. Don't buy those I made tools. Oh, just don't. Mazda Speed Spec GT Concept RX-7 FD3S, the Rodex style Nissan Silvia S15, the 1994 Toyota Hilux Double Cab Lift Up, Initial D, AAA6 Torino Project D, Initial D FC3S RX-7 Takahashi Ryusuke. Now, the ones that actually have something different and new about them, those are just restocks that they list as being new releases or new reissues. The 66 MGB Club Rally. So the MGBs, the ones they just reissued not too terribly long ago, I see a lot of the folks here in the United States with these kits picking them up one or both at the same time. They've been very popular sellers here, let alone anywhere else. They reissued the 68 MGB and the 74 MGB. And the 74 MGB is the one with the urethane bumpers. There were also two other ones, a Club Rally and a Rally Rally. Club Rally being more of an SCCA kind of race car. That is what's coming out, the Club Rally version. This has a different set of wheels than either one of the other two. Also has some driving lights for the front bumper that aren't included in any of the other kits. This kit has not been reissued since 1994, so it's been a little while for that to come back out. They're going to reissue their 1982 9 Hours of Kyalami Nissan R30 Skyline Turbo. And this is going to come with several frets of photo etch that are going to allow you to basically bend up an entire chassis for this thing, an interior for this thing, to sort of kind of bring it up to something resembling modern day specs. It's never going to be a modern kit with the motorized chassis that it has, but it's going to be a little more robust, I guess would be the term. I've seen some pictures of the built vehicle, and it looks better than the kit does normally, so there's that. The 2001 Nissan R34 four-door Police. So this is the new tool Mordor R34 with some police equipment, which is probably all reissued stuff from the past. Will be my guess, considering the age of the car and the age of Aoshima's police packs over the years. with police decals added to it. So it's a minor reissue there. And then the other thing is a 2014 Toyota Pro Box Road Patrol. So this is the Toyota Pro Box, the weird little commercial, not quite a minivan, not quite a van thing, with some sort of Japanese DOT, if you will, decals, and it's got the light bar and the big roof sign that was on the Toyota Hiace police car accident investigation thing. It's this great big box with a little clear space in the back where you can put some decals in and have messages in Japanese, or an arrow board. Same sort of thing. This is sort of, if you, Georgia's a big one with the Georgia Heroes that run around Atlanta, but most turnpikes, especially, but a lot of the states run motorist assistance patrols with sort of a F350, F450 style truck with a utility bed with lights and an arrow board, and they change your tires, give you gas, and all sorts of things like that. So it's the same sort of principle, only in Japan. And then restocks, yes, these are more restocks. 72 Celica 1600 GT, the 2003 Toyota Crown Athlete Crown Royal, the 2007 Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10C West, the 95 Hilux New Old School, the Brian James Transport Trailer. Been a little while since that's got a reissue. Liberty Walk Tricycle Works C10 Skyline, the 2011 Lamborghini Aventador and its photo etch parts, the 99 Diablo GT, the 2009 Murcielago SV, and the 2012 Aventador Roadster. So that, guys and gals, is that. So hopefully somewhere in all of that there was something that might tickle your fancy and see where your money is going for the month of October. And we'll see you guys on the other side.